Hey everybody, Dr. Howard Cohn here with the BioStacking Summit. Super excited to have back with us Dr. Noah Lebowitz from the beautiful, amazing, great state of Hawaii. I know that we are grabbing him for a few minutes between people, patients that are flying in from all over the world to see him and find out more, not just about all the cool things that the Lebowitz father and son team are doing for people's health, but really the impact that their company, Supreme Nutrition, has worldwide. I mean, I won't mention name, but we just at the Cohn Health Institute I was about to tell you about this. We had a meeting with another company, another nutritional company, talking about presenting their company and their unique products, and they had 3 sales reps there. And one of the people, we were talking about the summit came up and they go, "Oh, we'd love to find out more about the summit." And they go, "What are some of the nutritional companies that have sponsored this summit?" And I mentioned Verbita, I mentioned Standard Process, I mentioned Supreme Nutrition. And as soon as I said Supreme, they go, "Oh, really? I love them. They're like my favorite company." And it was hilarious because she was representing another company. So, which is so great and speaks, I just had to say, speaks volumes to the brand, the impact, and the mission behind it. So, Doc, for the people who do not know Supreme, we know it. It's all over the Cohn Health, the Cohn household, Cohn Health Institute. I don't think there's a pet in my home that hasn't had some Supreme in them, or still does. Tell us about, listen, as well as I do, the world did not need one more nutrition company. And it's not like you guys weren't busy. It's not like you have a waiting list already. So why did we do this? What was the impetus for the Lebowitzes to go, you know what? We have to. It's not a choice anymore.
Reason being is my dad, for decades, people talked about Noni. That was our first product, is Mirinda Supreme. People talked about Noni and the health benefits. My dad never found it worked that well. Never really helped people, didn't work on him. Then we were on vacation in 2006 on Kauai. And my dad found a Noni fruit leather from an all-organic Noni farm. It was pure 100% Noni. Tastes not so amazing. But he bought that. And it helped him more with candida issues than anything had in probably 20 years. Taking it for, I think he took it for a month. And so he's like, why did this Noni work when all these other Nonis haven't? So then we kind of got the idea of, things look good on paper. They're lab tested for metals, for microbes, for chemicals, pesticides, all that. But why is it, is there more to it? So we started to get samples from all over the world of Noni. And we started to do different types of energetic, neurological testing and see, even though they all look good on paper, does one outperform the others on actual patients? And we found one that did. And then when we gave it to patients, they had all this improvement that they never had before. And we're like, ooh, we might be onto something. And then it was also adding things, almost every supplement company out there adds things to their supplements. If you read on a supplement and it says vegetable stearate or magnesium stearate, do you know where that comes from? Most of the time, genetically modified hydrogenated cottonseed oil. And that's in 95% of the supplements people are taking. So we wanted to make a pure supplement, which means we have to run the machine slow. We have to feed them slow. We have to baby them so they don't break on us. It takes a lot longer. It costs a lot more, but we get a pure supplement without any of the junk. And so we found, with a mix of doing the pureness of supplements with herbs and nothing else, and then of doing, every time we get a new batch, evaluating multiple batches from multiple farms, in addition to lab testing, it just seems to work. And we get so much great feedback from great doctors like yourself all over that we're like, well, whatever we're doing, it's making a difference. Let's keep it going.
Well, it's amazing. And for those who don't know the kind of practice, now we've had on the BioStacking Summit, we have functional medical doctors and dentists and chiropractors and nurse practitioners and, people that are interfacing differently, many off of labs, many off of history, many off of different diagnostics, some genetics. And yet there's a lot of us that also use things like functional muscle testing to get information. And I know that, if you don't know how to look deeper, you're not going to look deeper. And I think that's kind of some of what you're talking about here. And people don't understand. They go, if you use Supreme, every time you guys make a new product, it's a new batch and it's potentially different. And so I know that you go through a lot of batches. And I'm going to belabor this issue for you and send back more batches than most people that anyone else would take, because it looks great. Like you said, all the microbes are there, the third-party testing, the metal testing is there. But when you test it energetically, it's off or it's dead or it's something happened along the way from wherever the farm was to wherever it got to where you guys put it into capsules. And it's a big deal. I know that, it's super cool as a clinician. You're the only company that sends us samples of each batch before you send us the thing. Like, I've used products for 30 years from some supplement companies, and they send the same thing and they're assuming it's the same thing, where we all know if it was grown in a place where the weather was different. We know it from wine, right? If the weather's different, the sunlight's different, there's different things going on, different things are happening in the air, ecologically, then the product's actually going to be different. If they decided to grow it lower or higher elevation, the product's going to be different. Please speak to that a little bit, only because it's such a differentiator for Supreme.
No, I mean, it's very true, because we can have an herb that we get from the same place for 4 or 5 years in a row, and then we get a sample and we're like, oh, sorry, we can't use it this year. And it gets frustrating for me, because then I have to go out and dig and try to find new ones. But, I just threw out the last 2 batches of Chinese coptis for golden thread that I got samples of. They just weren't good. I threw out the last sample of shatavari that I got. It wasn't good. And, sometimes it gets frustrating, and every now and then we actually run out of an herb, because even if it looks good on paper, organic, all these things, we don't want to come out with a new batch if we're not perfectly happy with the quality, even though it looks good on paper. And especially in your sensitive patients and people that are just sicker nowadays, they really seem to respond well by taking that extra step in our evaluation.
It's awesome. We love it. We appreciate it. Please don't ever stop. And so let's jump into some of these amazing products. Now, I will tell you, I know I'm preaching to the choir. It seems like almost every product you have can have its own fan club. You're interviewing so many of the different doctors, not the doctors in my office. There are patients that swear by it. There are people that will refer people into practitioners' offices, not because of the skill set of the practitioner per se, but it's because that's where you get Malia, or that's where they got your Rishi, or that's where you get, like you said, Shatavari, and and everywhere else they went, it's weird, right? So out of interest, what are your, I know your dad has probably his favorite, you have your favorite, there's probably the marketplace's favorite of, like, when you kind of do your quarterly stats, what are your top 3 movers? People are interested in that. Can you share some of that?
Definitely. If you ask me my personal favorite product, it would be golden thread. I've had a few times where I've been screwed up, and golden thread has been the one to save the day. If you ask my dad, his personal favorite, it would be Malia. They're both, those are probably 2 of my favorites, but we each have our favorite, again, depending on what's more going on with you as a person. Personally, I wouldn't say it's a top seller, but I'm also a huge fan of Tulsi, which is holy basil. It's a great adrenal adaptogen. When I was in school and I was stressed and tired and drinking too much caffeine, I wanted to get off, I took Tulsi every day. And when I took Tulsi, I was taking like probably 5 or 6 pills. It felt like I had 2 cups of coffee when I hadn't. And then the great part about it was, I took it for 3-4 months, and Tulsi is not a stimulant. It's an adaptogen. It helps the adrenal glands heal. So then after taking it for a couple months, I was able to stop, and my energy was still good, and I didn't need to take anything. So that's a personal experience for me. From an antimicrobial bug killer standpoint, Malia, golden thread, and probably Morinda. Those would be the top three. And then, if you look at detox, which I was just reading some depressing article about phthalates in people and hormone disrupting chemicals. I mean, Takasumi, which is kind of like activated charcoal, but a lot stronger. That works great for heavy metals. I just came across a study how it actually decreases phthalates in blood tests. But that's probably my favorite overall for heavy metals, for chemicals, for mycotoxins, for any of that stuff, Takasumi.
And let's flip it. What would be a product that you have that you probably believe should be in the top 5, top 10 most used products, but a lot of people either they just don't know it, it's hidden amongst the many, or maybe they just, if they knew what you knew about it, more people would use it.
Vedanga. We might be the only company in the US that has it as a standalone product. Vedanga is an amazing anti-parasitic. People use it especially for larger helminths, so larger worms. So it's a great anti-parasitic. I use it with a lot of people that are dealing with fungal issues. Also a really cool thing because methylation is such a hot topic. I always run a little bit high in homocysteine, which is like a methylation marker. And if I take B vitamins, I get headaches after about 2 days. So I don't do it. So my homocysteine runs a little elevated. So I read a study about Vedanga helping with methylation. So I decided, let's see. I took labs pre and post Vedanga for a month. My homocysteine levels for methylation dropped 25% just by taking Vedanga for a month, and I didn't get the headaches like I would with B vitamins. So I use it for all different types of fungi and parasites, but it's also great for methylation.
I love it. So you guys are super world famous for bug killing herbs. Also EMF protection. A lot of people, when they're looking for EMF protection, Supreme comes up. What are your go-tos? I know what my go-tos are from you guys. What are your go-tos and why?
I mean, why it works, I can't tell you, but we've had so many people that taking Bodyguard, which is Chonkapiedra, traditionally used for kidney stones and gallstones, but people that are sensitive to EMFs take Bodyguard and they just feel better. They're not bothered by electromagnetic fields like they would be typically. Again, why? I don't know. Just through a lot of clinical trial and error, we found that worked and we've kept using it and people keep responding well. So that's probably my favorite for EMFs. Ideally you change your lifestyle, you change your habits to try to lower your exposure. But for people that can't, taking Bodyguard, I've seen make huge improvements in neurological function, structural function, a lot of different issues.
Awesome. So let's talk about some stuff that maybe the average person who's out there dealing with some basic stuff. Let's do a little kind of rapid fire, some of the things you see. They say the number one reason somebody will go to a doctor's office, actually the number one, when you fill out an intake form, statistically it'd say the number one thing checked off is fatigue across the board. People are just exhausted, tired. I know you mentioned Tulsi. How about for energy on top of Tulsi? What other things do you see that you use for people for natural, healthy energy so they're not as coffee dependent, stimulant dependent, energy drink dependent, things like that?
I mean, ashwagandha is our by far best-selling adrenal adaptogen for energy. Ashwagandha is a classic, in Ayurvedic medicine, they say it'll help you run a marathon in the morning and sleep like a baby at night. With different adrenal herbs, it's like one works for a person. I really never see multiple ones work for a person. So like ashwagandha might be my first pick. Tulsi, which worked for me, is my second pick. Endo, which is what worked for my brother, third pick. And then American ginseng is my fourth. And at times that's been the best one for me. But it's also good, like immune booster and viral fighter also. But so it's almost trial and error of those four to see which works best for you as a specific person.
I love it. I know people are taking copious notes. Number two, they say is pain that won't go away. So whether inflammatory or as an analgesic, what's your go-to? What do you see come up a lot with chronic pain conditions?
I mean,
I know
if I think of pain, I mean, the biggest thing, I'm going to say diet. If you don't change your diet, you're probably not getting rid of your pain. That could be gluten, that could be dairy, that could be nightshades, that could be caffeine. Those are the biggest things. From a supplement standpoint, 3 things come to mind. One is Mangista. Mangista is a great lymphatic tonic, but it's actually an anti-inflammatory similar to turmeric, but it's water soluble, so it gets absorbed better. So Mangista is great as an anti-inflammatory. And then Cissus Supreme, I see that a lot of the times with like tendon and ligamentous type injury. And then Lou Wrong, I see it works for muscle recovery, but also more for bone recovery. So kind of like a mixture of those 3.
All right. Number 3, they say, is weight loss, weight management. As I got older, things that I did don't work, and now I'm holding extra body weight. Again, so many reasons, probably diet related. But what have you seen has been a tipping point for people when they've done the other things and these things were not still moving for them?
I mean, a lot of the times I personally find a hidden fungal issue in a person. And if you can address the fungal issue, then they start dropping pounds if they're doing everything else correctly. That could be things like golden thread or Malia or scularia to help. Strictly from a like helping blood sugar regulation, you have golden thread, which naturally contains berberine, which it's different, but a lot of people say it's more like nature's Ozempic. I don't know if I'd quite go that far, but it's good.
Right.
Or then rosemary. Rosemary, I mean, it's great for cognitive function. It's great for liver support. It's great for fungi, but also rosemary, they've done studies. It works as well as metformin in insulin resistance. So rosemary is a great one in helping people with insulin resistance. And if you look at all the skinny Italians, they eat rosemary as part of their diet every day.
Yes, they do. Very cool. And they say number 4 is inability to fall asleep or stay asleep. And as we know, the number 1 form of torture in the world is sleep deprivation. So how is Supreme helping us sleep?
Albizia Supreme is my favorite. Albizia, it binds to GABA receptors and 5-HTA serotonin receptors, so it works on multiple pathways. People with anxiety love it. People with insomnia where like their brain is racing love it. I've had a lot of patients tell me it's like Xanax, but without the hangover the next day.
Oh, I think the sales of that product just went up within the last 20 seconds. So, and the up and coming challenge for people these days, when we look at these statistics and we read articles, they say, whoever they are, is brain and cognitive health. So I know you have quite a few things that touched on that because there's so many reasons for it, if you will. I know you have a couple that really are winners. Maybe you can share those with us.
Number 1, I'd actually say Bacopa. Bacopa is great for brain, memory, dementia. It's just a great all-around brain tonic. And my dad's been using it a lot lately to help more stimulate like the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve. So Bacopa is great from that standpoint. I mean, one other one I'll mention, Japanese knotweed. It's the highest natural source of trans resveratrol. That's like the good active form of resveratrol, and which is really good for cardiac health and brain health.
Beautiful. So I'm just rapid fire. So herbs, and yet in the last year or so, we saw Supreme expand to include some animal products for the first time, and not your typical, cow and pig like many other companies, but we went sheep. So talk to us 2 things. Number 1, why'd we jump in that game? Number 2, why sheep?
I mean, personally, I think, if you look at a true multivitamin, I think you can definitely get that from animals. And in today's society, most people don't want to eat organs. Stigmas, different things. I like to eat organs, well, some of them, but it's so I think it's a really good from a multivitamin. It like supports like, so that's been really important. Like I've seen people with low testosterone taking sheep testicle has helped. Liver, I look at it as a multivitamin. Thymus, which is for immune system. I see taking thymus help for immune function. So from that standpoint, I've seen it be really beneficial. We were using them and we're like, well, let's offer it. Sheep, I mean, first thing is we wanted grass-fed. If it wasn't 100% grass-fed, we wouldn't have even considered it. And we found a farm, we're buying directly from a farmer in New Zealand that has 100% grass-fed sheep. And, you know, I'm not ever going to talk bad about beef. I love beef. Beef organs are great. I can't talk bad about them. But I do think one nice thing, I mean, sheep and lamb as a whole is slightly more hypoallergenic than beef. Also, they harvest sheep at a younger age. So I feel like they're less contaminated. They've had less environmental toxins and exposure. So again, I'll never talk bad about beef organs, but I think sheep are slightly supreme.
I love it. I love it. So I know that first of all, you guys have produced products at a breakneck pace, especially when you, like you explained in the beginning, do it in such a way that requires you to slow down. Like you said in the beginning, a lot of people do use fillers in their products as tableting aids or capsuling aids to make the machines go faster or break down less. But you're taking the time it takes, like you said, that costs more time, costs more money. And what's amazing too, the price point of your products compared to many others in our space are still below the average, which is amazing for the quality control that you guys put it through. So I didn't even ask you about this before, but are there any things on the horizon that you may or may not want to share with us? How about, so we are in 2024, looking around the corner to 2025. What can we expect next from Supreme?
You know, that's a debate my dad and I have every day. The more products you have, the more complicated it makes life. You know, so we're at the point of, we love new products if we feel, we're not just coming out with the product for the sake of coming out with the product. If we get stuck on our patients and feel like we need something to help them, or we come across something that we think will really fill a niche that we need, that's when we're interested. We have one new product actually in the works. So a lot of, let's say, new heart issues, especially in younger people the last couple years. We've used a lot of hawthorn. Hawthorn is like restorative to the heart, kind of like an adrenal adaptogen. It's a heart adaptogen. But we're actually working to come out with the sheep heart product, because heart is naturally, it's the highest source of carnitine, which is important for muscle health and heart health. It's high in CoQ10, among other nutrients. So that's the only product we have on the horizon right now, which will possibly be this year, probably early next year.
Well, we look forward to using it in the Cohn Health Institute, which I know we will, as will many of our BioStacking listeners and doctors. And yes, the last few years have brought on, mysteriously, a whole host of cardiovascular issues. I wonder why. So, but we appreciate you. We appreciate your dad. We love the body of research that you've done on these products. Very few companies do it and then simplify it. I get stacks of things I either get nothing from certain companies or I get stacks of clinical data that really, nobody has time to sift through it, right? At least summarize it.
Yeah.
But you summarized it, made it easy, update. Every time you have a new product, you update it. Man, I know the work it takes to do that, and it is a lot. So I'm giving you a big air hug for doing that virtually, buddy. Really appreciate that. And a bigger thank you to your family, your wife and your children, for allowing you the time it takes to do this stuff. And I know we don't do it alone. It takes a village. You have a lot of good people working with you and for you. So we're excited about that. But again, we appreciate everything. We appreciate the time. We appreciate what your dad has set up as a legacy, and for you to be a good boy and continue the legacy, which is you don't always see. So I've met your kids, so and they look like they're on the track. So they're definitely being well taken care of, healthfully, and well fed and well supplemented. So I expect nothing That's for my kids to take your kids' supplements.
Thank you. It's
So,
always a pleasure and honor to chat with you.
yeah, we appreciate you. And thanks for being part of the summit. And thanks for enriching this community with your products. And we look forward to all the things future coming and continuing to tell the world about all that you've put out for us. So thanks for everything today, and love to your father and your family.
Thanks, Dr. Cohn. Have a great day. It was a pleasure.
You as well. Bye, guys.